Sony's a corporation. It suffered significant damage. There were threats against its employees. I am sympathetic to the concerns that they faced. Having said all that, yes, I think they made a mistake.
If it wasn't North Korea and the single best example of a madman with his finger on the button, what's happened the last few weeks with regard to a movie and a damaged ego would and should be the focus of any really good comedy. But we cannot forget that even with our own laughter and shaking of heads comes a potential for cyber attacks that could cost lives. And the finger on the potential nuclear button is the man with a fondness for saunas, alcohol, and flights of fancy over a global conflict. Let us welcome back to MidPoint former CIA analyst and our intel specialist, Lisa Ruth, joins us once again. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
Here we go. It's like every time I look, it says North Korea, mad. Yeah. But let's be really serious here. No matter how we look at this, do we need to back up just a little and remember that this is a nuclear power? This is a guy whose own government, we don't know if and when they might be looking to depose him. So we have no idea what's happening in that country. There is a madman sitting there, and I don't think we're overstating this.
No, I agree with you. He's someone that mercurial, to say the least. But as you said, the other side of it is we don't really know what's going on. We do know, since he's been in power, he's had nuclear tests. We do know that the one sort of curb on his power has always been China. That relationship is frosty at best. And interesting, there was even an article in the Chinese daily paper by a general, which you probably saw, where the general said, you know, China can't always keep cleaning up North Korea's messes. Things are very much in flux, but your point is also valid. Yes, he has nuclear missiles. Yes, he has ballistic missiles. But even this cyber attack, keep in mind the vulnerability of things like the power grid, water. There's a lot of damage this madman can do. Is
it, and again, there's something completely off the line here, but it came up in a conversation earlier. Apparently China's not happy. We have a government that can't feed its own people.
Right.
We have the rampant economic issues that are going on there. People can't afford their own food. Are we looking at a time maybe when we've got a government there in place who might try to take this guy out? Is there the possibility?
There is absolutely the possibility. And if you think back a couple months ago when Kim was doing this purge of his uncle, who was very close to China, there was a lot of questions about perhaps some of the military moving against him. And at that time, then, he followed through on the purge, got rid of more people. Right now, he's very, very powerful. But there has to be, absolutely has to be, a counter power in this country that's looking at this and going, here's a kid without experience. I mean, he's very young. Here's someone who doesn't, even North Korea's rules of engagement, you know, we all have our own cultural rules. He doesn't follow that. The military is really the only powerful force there, but they have to be watching this very carefully. And there is, all the analysts I talk to absolutely agree, there is a possibility. Now, how much? You know, we're dealing with a closed society.
But does at least our intel tell us that there is some sort of structure there in North Korea that may eventually get sick and tired of this board-playing little madman here and do something?
Absolutely. There is, right now, the best guess is there is a counterpower structure. And the question is he going to step over that line? What is that line? And will he step over it and force change? So far, he hasn't done that.
Is the line there pushing China too far?
I think that's part of it. I think there's a lot of people there that are very concerned about this. Keep in mind, North Korea is very dependent on China. As you said, you know, economically, absolutely needs China's engagement for things like feeding their country. How far can the military allow him to push?
Would we ever see, boy, here, let's go right off flights of fancy here. Would we ever see the possibility that China may become so angry with what's going on there that the Chinese may move against North Korea?
I think that's outside. So far, keep in mind, even if you listen to what the Chinese are saying, and they are clearly unhappy with him, clearly, but they're not even going to side too much with the United States here. If you look at what they've said, they're still very cool. It's still the question of they're not quite ready, and I don't think the Chinese want to do anything, again, in this extrapolated situation, to really destabilize North Korea, because then you're left with, what do we have then?
All right, 20 seconds, then we'll take a break. But North Korea says it wasn't us. China says it wasn't them. You're talking to the intel people. No doubt that it was North Korea involved in the cyber attacks?
no doubt, 100%, absolutely convinced it was North Korea.
So no matter what they say, we have the smoking gun, we have the fingerprint, I guess, the electronic fingerprint?
The word on the street is there is no question whatsoever.
And no doubt they'll try it again.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's wait until the next time now and wait until it's actually somebody important. Lisa Ruth returns after the break. We spin overseas to attacks in France and the victory lap being taken by a communist country thanks to President Obama. It's coming up on MidPoint.